This call is now being recorded.
Hello students. Already in the previous assignments, we have explored the basic components for the calculator. After a calculator assignment, we have explored the media player in the multimedia application. And now next thing which we need to explore for the next assignment, that is the text editor. So we are going to simulate the text editor, which is a little bit similar to the word formatting. So all of we know that for the text formatting we can change the font size, then the style of the font, then we can change the color, we can underline the text. So all this text formatting we can able to simulate using the Android application. So how we can do this simulation using the Android programming? So for that, few basic concepts we need to go through first. So in order to explore the text editor, the basic widget which we require for the Android implementation is the spinner. So all of we know that whenever we are saying that when we want to change the size, font color or font style, but obvious we will have a list of the different options and we are choosing. So for example, for if I want to change the size of the text, but obvious we will have a multiple list, like whether I want to set the size as a 12, 15, 17, like that. So we are having a set of values, and from that set of values we need to choose one value which will be change the size of my text. Okay, so in order to do this, we have a basic widget in Android which is called as a spinner. So for spinner, so Android Spinner is like the drop-down menu with multiple values from which the user can select only one value. So as I mentioned, with the drop-down list, we will have a set of values, and from that set of values, whichever be the value you want to apply to your text, we have to select only one value from the set of values. So in Spinner, the default state for the spinner, which is nothing but whatever be the value you have selected, that will be the default state of the spinner while we are designing that. So it can be used to display the multiple options to the user, in which user is going to select only one atom as per their choice. So spinner provide a quick way to select one value from the given set of values. So this is the purpose of the spinner widget in Android. So, but obvious how I can select this specific spinner in order to design my application. So all of we know, whenever we are starting with designing a Android project, we have gone through the palette, right? So you can add the spinner from that palette in your layout, which is we have seen in the Excel, that is layout file, in the layout folder XML file. So you can add a spinner to your layout with the spinner object. So what you can do is, in your palette, select container, and when you click or when you select the container object from the palette, it will show you the multiple object associated in the container. So you have to select container. After container, select spinner. So when you drag drop that particular spinner on your layout, but obvious the backend code or the automatic template will be generated, in which, as we have seen previously for the text view button widget, same way for the spinner, it is having the default attribute as the ID, its layout. So but obvious whenever we want to change the height and width, as we have seen, you can make it wrap content or the match parent. So these are the three default attributes associated with the spinner. So now once you have placed that drop down box, that is spinner, on your layout, now what we want to add the values into the spinner. So as shown over here, if I have placed one spinner on the layout, but obvious we want to add the values, a set of values to that particular spinner. So how I can do that addition, or how I can add that set of values to the spinner? So to implement the spinner, we need to import the following package in your Java file. Okay, so in order to associate your design with the actual activity in your main activity, we have to import this specific class, that is a spinner class. And all of we know that find view by id. So by using find view by id, we will link that particular spinner object with the functionality or with your activity file. So after linking this thing, that spinner, with your main activity, now the next thing is how I can add the set of values to this particular spinner. Okay, so in order to populate, so as I mentioned, we want to add a set of values to this spinner. So in order to do that thing, how I can populate, so in technical word it is called as populating your spinner with a list of choices or with a set of values. So in order to populate your spinner, there are again two ways, or we can say there are two methods by which you can add the set of values to the spinner. So the first way, which is a simple way to add the values to the spinner, is by using a string resource file. So the first option, which is nothing but, if you are going to check it out, that is using string resource file. So where this file is located, so if you remember, in the resource folder of your file architecture of your Android, over there in the resources there is a values folder, and in that values folder there is a file string.xml. Okay, so you have to open that string.xml file, and after opening that xml file, you will able to see this code into your xml file. So in that string.xml file, what we need to do is we want to add the list of values which we want to associate it with the spinner. Okay, so in string.xml, in order to add that values, what we need to do is we have to create a string array. So in string.xml file, you have to add a XML tag as a string array. The name of you, we have to give the name of that array equal to, in double quotes, the name of the array, and this name of the array we need to link in our design file. Okay, so in order to create a list of atoms, first we need to create a string array, and inside that string array we have to add the number of values which we want to add into that spinner. So how I can add that list of values? By using the atom tag. So this is the syntax of atom tag. So opening and closing braces over here. So atom, then whatever be the value we want to add, that actual value you have to specify over here and close that atom tag. So the value which we want to add, for each value you have to enclose that value by using the atom tag in the XML file. So over here I have added 3 atoms by using the atom tag, which is inside the string array name. So in this way, these 3 values I want to add into the spinner. I want to associate these 3 values, or this list of values, it should display with the specific spinner. So after creating these values, now how it will, because see, for this we need to write some things, then only this set of values will link with the spinner. So again we have to go to the XML file or design file, where we have seen, or when we drag drop the spinner, at that time we got in the text file Android ID, layout and height, right? So below these attributes, now in order to link these set of values, we have to add one more attribute to the spinner, that is Android colon entries. Okay, so Android dot colon entries, this entries attribute will be allowed to set the list of values to the spinner. And which spinner? So that is nothing but the name of the string array which we have mentioned in the string.xml file. So Android.entries is equal to, in double quotes, with the @. So when you are putting @, automatically the name of your string array which you have created, it will pop up immediately, and we have to just select it. So that particular list of atoms will get associated with this specific spinner in which we are writing this particular attribute. Okay, so now, so we have created a list of values in the string.xml file using the string array name. That string array name we had associated with the specific spinner in the layout file with the entries tag. Now, so this linking is done at the design time. Now, so when I'm going to execute my program, at that time, whatever be the value I'm going to select from that particular list or from the given set of values. So what I need to do is, in my activity file, main activity file, I have to, whatever be the value you are going to select. So for example, we had given the values as 10, 20 and 30. So from that 10, 20 and 30 at runtime, if I want to choose a 20 value, so but obvious how my program will recognize user have selected the value as 20 from the given list. Okay, so for that, all of we know that during the runtime, whatever be the events user is going to select, in order to write that functionality, we are going to add that functionality into the main activity.java file. So in that Java file, if you remember, as I told, for the activity file, you have to import their spinner widget, and we have to create an object of the spinner widget. After creating that spinner widget, I'm going to link that spinner with my activity by using find view by id. So that specific spinner is going to be linked to my activity file, and but obvious in that spinner, whichever be the spinner object which I have created, with that I need to use a get selected atom. Okay, so this get selected atom method will return whichever be the option or whichever be the value user has selected at a runtime. So it will return that value by using get selected atom method, and that value we have to apply to the text by using set text method. Okay, so that is the one way of linking a set of values to the spinner. Another way is by using array adapter. So this array adapter will be directly linked during the dynamic at a runtime, or it is also called as a dynamic linking. Whereas the first option which we discussed, that is using the string resource file, that is a design time linking of your spinner with the list of values. Okay, so you can implement by using a string.xml. If anyone is interested to do it at dynamic time, I will just quickly explain how you can use the array adapter. So in order to use, as name indicate, adapter, it is nothing but just like a switch between the your UI, that is your mobile phone, and your actually database or from the UI. So it will be linking of your application with your design. So it is one example is like here from, if I want to charge my mobile phone, so we need some USB cable and the adapter which will connect my electricity or my power point with the mobile phone or your device. Okay, so same way over here in my UI component, I can either use the list view, the grid view, or the spinner in order to specify the list of values. Now over here we are using spinner. If anyone want to explore, they can just check it out, the list view and grid view, and for that you can use a array adapter in the same manner which we are doing for the spinner. So how I can do that at a runtime? So for that you can use a array adapter method. So in array adapter class, whenever we are creating this particular object, so syntax is array adapter, and in array adapter we need to specify three parameters. First is in which activity or for which activity we are creating this adapter, which will link your UI with the actual components. Then second is the integer resources, that is what particular what we can say the second parameter which is indicating a resource ID which is used to set the layout in your XML file for the list atoms in which we are having that particular set of values. And the third parameter is the object, that is nothing but the parameter that is nothing but an array of objects which is used to set the array elements in the particular text view, which we can set to the object of an array. So this is an array adapter syntax. So this is one way of how we can use an array adapter in the Java main activity.java file. Okay, so you can just go through over here. As I mentioned, the first step is to create a spinner object, then populate that spinner object using a array adapter in the Java. So, but obvious how I can populate that. So, in order to populate that, I have to first create a string of an array atoms, which you know how to create a string array in Java. So, string, then array, name of that particular string array, and in curly braces you can add the elements which whatever be the number of elements or a list of elements which we want to link with the array adapter. Now after creating a string array, second is we need to create an object of a spinner by using find view by id. So the spinner which is on your GUI will get linked with my functionality or with my activity file. Now after creating an object, now what I need to do, I have to set this spinner with the current activity. So for that there is a set on atom selected method with the spinner class object. So whatever be the spinner object dot set on atom selected listener, which will set or which will link these spinner. Now after doing that, now actual that spinner will get linked with the whatever be the string array we have mentioned. So for that there is a array adapter class. So you have to create an object of a array adapter class equal to new array adapter. It means we are creating an object, and while creating the object we need to pass three parameters. First is the activity, or it is called as a context. So this will indicate in the current activity. After that I have to specify the source, which is nothing but the name of your spinner which you have created. And after specifying that source, the next is the name of your string array. Okay, so in this case my string array is nothing but my atom list one. So that is the object of my string array which I want to link to the spinner by using array adapter method. And after, so this will just create an object, but in order to get it as a drop down list with an array adapter, I need to set that value to that array adapter. So I can do that by using the object of an array adapter as aa.set dropdown view resource. So my set dropdown view resource is a method which is actually linking the list of values to the my actual spinner, because while creating the array adapter object we had given the object of the spinner and the string array, and by using set drop down list it will link my spinner to that particular string array. So after doing this, now I need to use a set adapter method so that this particular list of strings will get associated with my spinner. So for that we need to, so in order to link actually that string list with my spinner, there is a spinner, we need to use a object of a spinner. So in our example the object of our spinner is spin, and then there is a method set adapter. So with a set adapter, we have to pass an array adapter object, which just now we have created as AA. So that array adapter is going to set to the spinner, and but obvious, then only at a runtime, this particular list is going to be shown as a drop down list. So these are the basic methods for using array adapter in order to populate your spinner with the list of atoms. And then in order to get a particular atom which user have selected, for this there is a on atom selected method. See, when we have used the string, at that time we have used get selected atom method, whereas when we are using array adapter, the method in order to get the selected atom, the method is on atom selected. So but obvious, it will return a selected atom from the spinner, and this method we have to override from the array adapter class. So these are the basic steps for populating the spinner. Now once your array adapter is going to be linked with the spinner, it is just like shown over here, the list of the strings, which is the name of the or we can say a name string, where 6 names I have added in the array list. And but obvious, when I'm going to use a array adapter object, I will link that, I will set the array adapter, at that time it will show me as a drop down list. Okay, so by using these basics, we need to implement the assignment in which we are going to create a word formatting, or we can call it as a text editor. So in order to implement a text editor, but obvious, what we need to do, we are not going to see, due to time constraint, we are going to only do the formatting of a text. That is, we are going to change the size of the text, color of the text, and the style of the text. So in order to do these three functionalities on the text, but obvious, how many spinners we will require? For size, we will need one spinner which will have all the integer values, whereas second spinner you can take it for the color, where you can add the different color names, and the third spinner we may require, or we require third spinner for the specifying different styles, like whether we want to make our text as a bold, whether we want to keep it as a normal, or whether we want to keep it as a italic. Okay, so these three spinners you can take it, where you can add. So for size, it has to show us the integer values. For color, the name of the different colors, and the third spinner which will show us the different styles like bold, italic, and normal. So but obvious, when I'm going to specify or I want to change the size of the text at that time, but obvious, I will get, so all of we know that how to get a selected atom at runtime. So for that, we can use either a get selected atom, or on so totally it will be based on which method you have used for populating the spinner. So after getting that selected atom, if I want to change the text, but obvious, in order to set that text, there is a method set text size. So by using set text size, it is going to change whatever be the text on your text view is there, it will change the size of that text. Same way, when I want to change the color, there is a set text color. And but obviously over here we want to change the color. So whatever be the colors you have mentioned, but obvious, for that color we can use color dot parse color. Okay, so by using this parse color, it is automatically going to parse that color, which will be set to the text by using set text color for the changing the color of your text. And the third, in order to change the style, so the method which is used to change the style, that is set typeface. So by using set typeface, it allows us to change the style of the text. So see what we have seen, in order to implement the text editor, but obvious, first we need to take an widget as a edit text, where you can enter the actual text, then the three spinners for size, color, and style. And but obvious, after that there is a set text size, set text color, and set typeface, these three methods in order to edit your text. So in order to change the color, as I mentioned, but obvious, spin dot set text color Android. So one way is, as I mentioned, color dot parse color. So depending on your version of the Android, sometimes it may directly work the color dot parse. Otherwise, what we need to do actually, from the spinner, I need to get whatever be the atom selected. Okay, so for color change, first is I need to get the selected atom from the spinner which user have selected. So with spinner dot get selected atom, it will return the value which user have chosen by using string dot value of. So whatever be the atom you have selected, with get selected atom, it will return that string as a parameter to the parse color. So my color dot parse color will recognize that particular color from the color class, and by using a graphics method it is going to be applied to your text. So on some version, Android version, directly with a set text color you can pass color dot parse color, and if it is giving you any problem at that time, you can check it out with android dot graphics dot color dot parse color. So these are some variation which will differ with version to version. So you can just check it out which way it will work on your machine. Then next is for changing the size, as I mentioned, set text size. And for set text size, the parameter should be in the form of int. Okay, so you just check it out, the argument list which is required for set text color, set text size, and for the set typeface. So these are the main methods which are required to change the actual contents of your text. So as I mentioned, for the typeface, in typeface, again there are, see, if you remember what I said, for text style, there is a function set text set text typeface. Okay, so for set typeface, there are different parameters, so you can just check it out, that argument list, and in that argument list you have to specify whether you want that style as bold italic, or normal italic, or the just normal text. So based on that, either you can give the string as bold italic, italic, or normal. If I'm choosing, so depending on what type of function, set typeface function you are using, you can just explore that, so you will be able to understand what exactly I'm saying. If you are considering that parameter as a string, I have to enclose this text style in the double quote. If I'm considering that second parameter as an integer, at that time, in order to specify bold, I have to specify the integer value as 1. For bold italic, the value is 3. For italic, it will be 3. And if I want to keep my text as normal, and if I have considered that parameter as an integer, so see, these are all the overridden methods of that particular class. Okay, so which function, which method you are overriding, based on that you have to specify that parameter list. And for whatever I have just talked, bold, italic, normal, that is related to your text.